This is Infection, the survival podcast recorded live on Tuesday, July 2nd, 2019, episode 233. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Infection, the survival podcast. Infection is your source for the latest information on survival video games. We bring you the latest news, reviews, updates, and more each and every week. My name is Nick Craig. You can follow me on Twitter at Nicholas M. Craig. Of course, the best website on the internet, based on Alexa rankings and everything else, is infectionpodcast.com. More traffic than Google, YouTube, CNN, all of them combined. Infectionpodcast.com. The man, actually, that keeps infectionpodcast.com online, Brian with an eye for internet, Aldridge.
Yes.
Hello, Brian.
Hello.
How are you?
I am doing well. Thank you for the lovely introduction. If you want to find me at Boise Computer on Twitter, my blog, biteoftech.com. And of course, as Nick was saying, infectionpodcast.com, the place to go. Tell all your friends.
Yeah, lots of content all throughout the week.
Instagram.
Every hour you need to be refreshing this website because there's so much groundbreaking
auto refresh on there. That would help so you don't miss anything.
Constantly poll.
Yeah. On the right-hand side, if you look, there's a Discord button. That's a great way. You can submit news throughout the week. You can chat with people whenever we play games. We're using that for voice chat. Also, there's the Steam group. You get a little notification right before the show starts. We have a link to our YouTube channel, all the audio forms, and then our Twitch. We have show notes for every single episode that we've done up to this point. So maybe you're listening to this and you want to see a video or something that we showed. We have that in those show notes. And also a support us page tab on the right. And what you can do with that is if you're going to be purchasing anything through Humble Bundle, maybe doing the monthly subscription through that. If you use our link, we get a kickback from that. And also our Amazon links, if you want to support us through those. If you're going to purchase anything on Amazon, it doesn't cost you anything more, but it gives us a small percentage of your purchase. So those are ways that you can help cover the expenses of PAX, which is coming up very soon. Well,
speaking of PAX, Brian, I've got some great news to report, and this happened. Yeah. It's funny because it's happened now 2 years in a row. It's the week I'm on vacation every year. I'm sitting out at the beach, relaxing, having a couple of brouhahas, and our Infection podcast inbox starts blowing up, and it's like, I see PAX. I'm like, oh God, no! It's going to say denied. And
we're sorry, but we could not. Yeah,
yeah, it's going to say sorry. Whoops, try again. But no, it said PAX West media application approved. So we thank God, because we had thousands of dollars invested in airplanes and Airbnbs out in Seattle. So we are good to go. We're off to the races. And we are really, really looking forward to heading out to Seattle here next month. Right? I mean, it's the end of next month. So we'll be rocking and rolling out in Seattle here in just a couple weeks. So stay tuned. Well, a couple months rather. Stay tuned for that.
Yes. All right. So is there anything we need to cover before we roll into the show today?
We're not sure about Game of the Week. There probably, because it's the Steam summer sale, there will probably be a handful of games that go free for the weekend later in the week. Yeah. So if something, if something of interest goes free for the weekend and it makes sense, check our Twitter. It's at InfectionCast, or just be active in our Discord. And if there's a Game of the Week, it'll be more impromptu. But we'll talk about that there. It's Tuesday, so there's not really they don't typically announce free weekends. We always miss them because they announce them on Thursdays or Wednesday nights or even sometimes Fridays. So there may be something, there may not be, but stay tuned to our Twitter and Discord for that.
Very good.
What about you? You got any announcements? Public service announcements?
No, I don't think so. I think we're good.
I think that's it. I was gonna. Actually, that's not true. I lied. I do want to thank. I want to thank our friend Judd for gifting a couple of Tier 1 Twitch subscriptions to a couple of listeners, and then I want to thank him and our good friend Amnon for each throwing us a couple bucks here before the program. We do appreciate it, and it will help cover the Ubers and all the crazy nightlifing that we do in.
Oh yes, that's exactly what we do.
When we're up at 7 o'clock in the morning to get over to the convention hall because 4 people have to take a shower. It takes like 3 hours to get everybody ready and out the door. It'll make that a little bit easier. So thanks for that, guys. I just don't
shower. It makes it easier.
Yeah. Well, like everybody else at PAX, you fit right into all the other weirdos that are there.
It's like when you go hunting, you want to kind of mask your scent. Like I don't shower for a week and then I'm perfectly ready for PAX.
Brian, what happened in the... I don't want to talk about this. It's making me sick. Let's see. Do you want to start with gaming news or survival gaming news?
Is there loads of survival gaming news here?
Well, I mean, there's a little bit, but okay, fine. Then I'll steer this ship. I'm the captain here. Okay. I've got the tan to prove that I'm the captain. So, in ongoing drama with everybody's favorite Epic Game Store, there's yet another game that is going exclusive. Yeah. Now this game actually, I have actually played. I believe I've played this game was on the Sega Dreamcast. If I remember, it was. It's Shenmue, and it was. I think they did 1 or 2 on the Dreamcast. I played one of them. And they were doing, or they are doing rather, a Kickstarter for the 3rd version of the game. They, by the way, have raised $6.3 million on Kickstarter, which I don't know how long this Kickstarter's been going on. I didn't follow it. It really is not in our genre. Literally, it could not be further from our genre of game. But a clear 69,320 backers, so 70,000 people donated $6.3 million. Clearly a lot of interest for this game. And to nobody's real surprise, they came out with a Kickstarter announcement. I think it was today. It was that there's been an update due to an agreement between them and the Epic Game Store. They are going to the game is going to be an exclusive. Now, funny enough, this is actually being published by Deep Silver, who is under a whole bunch of crap with Metro. Is Deep Silver too? Metro, I think so, 2033 or whatever. There's
whatever the new one is.
A whole bunch of 2090 89.3, whatever it is. They were under a whole bunch of heat for that. And what they're doing is. So I'm going to just read from their note here. It says, as noted in the update and the survey at launch, we had originally planned for PC distribution through Steam, talking with publishers and sales, considering YSNet and Deep Silver agreed to our partnership with Epic Game Store for the PC version of distribution. So with that being the case, if you were a backer who requested a Steam key, by the way, they're doing a PS4, which I've never really seen before. They're doing a PS4 and a PC launch. So if you backed it, you could choose what copy of the game you wanted. But if you requested a Steam key, you're not going to get one. Those will not be available. You will be getting an Epic Game Store key on launch. Now it does say. I would assume at some point the game will come to Steam. It may, like we've seen this with a lot of other games.
Probably that year exclusive.
Yeah,
or whatever.
Maybe. I mean, no, I don't think any of these publishers are signing lifetime exclusivity. That doesn't make sense. No. But they're essentially saying that we are not able to offer Steam keys for Kickstarter rewards at this time. Okay, fine. So let's say you, Brian, decided. By the way, before we get into that, I do want to thank our friends Saul Greatman and UJX Vibe, who I had lunch with a couple months ago. A real nice guy, for both hitting us with the resubscriptions here on Twitch. Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it. So, don't mean to assume your gender, but so with that being said, Tim Sweeney, who founded Epic and is the current CEO, tweeted out earlier today that Epic is so Brian, you decide you kicked this game, kickstarted this game, and you said, no, F it. I don't like Epic Game Store. I'm anti-Epic. I want my money back. Now, normally with Kickstarter, you're SOL. You put money towards a project, the money's towards that project. Well, in this case, Epic, not Deep Silver, not YSNet, Epic is funding the cost of all Kickstarter refunds resulting from the move to Epic Game Store. And Tim Sweeney even says, refunds won't reduce YSNet's development funding. So Epic has given, they signed some kind of contract with this game, and is already giving them however many millions of dollars, is now going to could potentially be refunding essentially six. If every single person bought it on Steam and every single person wanted a refund, they could be on the line for $6.3 million. And they are clearly,
they know that most people are going to take it on Epic.
But even not, that is a risk that they calculate. Even half, Brian, let's say $3 million. That's a lot of money for any company. I mean, you don't know.
They must think that, I mean, we the thing is a lot of people assume that sales are low on Epic's game store. Like they keep saying, oh, they're not doing it. But every single company so far has said our sales have exceeded expectation on the Epic store. Isn't that pretty much accurate?
I have heard
every time we've seen a story, they've come out with a thing saying we have sold more than we expected. So one thing I wanted to point out though is, so this didn't reach max funding, first of all.
Oh, really? Okay.
I mean, they had a bunch of tiers that weren't filled.
Flex
so
goals.
It reached 700,000, right?
Yep.
Isn't that what they wrote over the things? Let's see.
I can't really
tell. It doesn't say here anymore.
The goal was $2 million was the actual goal. They raised 6.3.
6.3. So, oh, I see. These are M's. Okay, good. So they reached 6.5. They had commas. This is China or wherever. So 6.5 million they didn't reach. So they went right below that, according to their thing.
Correct.
So if this is getting funded by Epic, right, are they going to be doing all of the stretch goals?
Maybe. I'm not sure.
I mean, this would be one thing that if you backed it, I would be looking at that of, okay, well, if Epic is giving you guys a big kickback, you're not losing any of the money from the, you're getting all the money from the Kickstarter as well, and you're making all these sales on Epic Store. Like, I'm wondering if they're going to actually meet all of their stretch goals now.
So, again, it's this ongoing saga of Epic Games bad, Steam and all this other thing, and we're not going to get into that. I think, Brian, your and I's thoughts and opinions on that are very clear. So we're not going to rehash the same debate that literally every jackass, including us on the internet, has talked about. They're either for competition in the marketplace or they want everything to be on Steam. That's pretty much the two sides. Brian and I, unless your opinion has changed, Brian, I'm very much on the side of whoever the hell wants to publish games and sell games and give developers money and help me as the consumer save a couple bucks. I'm on the side of that. Has your opinion changed?
No. And the only thing that I can say is a real downside of Epic right now is that they don't have all of, and it will be coming in, I think, in the next couple of months, but all of the sharing options as far as like with your friends lists and all that stuff to make it to where it's synced on between consoles and PC. I think that's the one downside that you could easily say, hey, Epic hasn't done this yet. That's an issue.
Well, there's plenty of issues.
That's one thing where Steam, you can look at Steam and say, all right, well, they've got the friends list, all my people that I play with are there. But I think once they sort that out and games start adopting to where you can play across all these different things, I think then there will be very little reason to say, okay, well, I'm just totally anti-Epic. So
there was an interesting thing that I saw. So there's a, I think this is the guy you've actually talked to, Nicholas Zorkaw over at Dead Matter. Is that the guy that you are in touch with?
Yeah.
So
that's who I interviewed. Yeah.
I saw him. He was tweeting back and forth with a guy on Twitter, and I started following through the thread, and it was interesting. So there's a guy on Twitter, and the link will be in the show notes if you want to read through the thread. I'm not gonna. The guy's name is irrelevant, but he obviously is not a fan of the exclusivity on Epic. And this Dead Matter guy says, how are you being cheated if you still get the game? It's kind of the opposite, given that Epic is providing a financial pillar, yada, yada, yada. This guy says, well, the backers gave the developers the financial pillar, and their wishes were regarded, and they sold out. It's a business. It's not the spirit of Kickstarter. They go back and forth. And the thing that is interesting is then this guy says, investors deal for cash. He essentially talked about how people that back the game on Kickstarter are investors And then this Dead Matter guy said, backers are not investors, dude. You back the game and there's a reward and that's what you get. And then they went back and forth with arguing about what the definition of a backer is, and ended with backers are not investors. When you invest money, you are getting... Now, I can see where the line may get a little blurry, but investors in a company, for this case, in most cases, give money to the company in exchange for not just products and services, but for shares, ownership. And when you're buying the $60 tier of a game, when you fund the $60 version of the game, you are not an investor in the company.
That'd be like saying that you're invested in Microsoft because you purchased a copy of Windows 10,
or saying because you've donated to the show that you're an investor in the show.
You have a license. You have a license to use, and here, you have the right to listen to this show, right? But you don't own the show, right? I mean, it's just like it's Windows. You don't own any piece of Microsoft. You are not an investor in Microsoft because you own Windows.
But you can be an investor in Microsoft.
You could if you want to go and give actual money to the company.
You can go
buy partial ownership.
You can head on over and download an app like Robinhood, and you can literally buy shares of Microsoft. That would make you a literal investor. So I found that to be interesting, and I wonder if now I'm not. So let's talk a little bit about this then, Brian, from a moral aspect. Do you have a problem with Shenmue 3 already making 6.3 is a lot of freaking money. I mean, it's like literally it
really depends on how big the project is, how many people are hired on to do this. I mean, 6.3 sounds like a lot of money, but let's say, compared to Epic's daily budget, is that a lot of money? I bet they spend 6.3 million in a day, or had the ability to.
So my question to you though is, so they raised a significant amount. This is where I see that the controversy is. If they had made no money on Kickstarter, like $20,000, this would be a non-story, really. But the fact that they made a whole, which it kind of changes the conversation. They made $6.3 million off of Kickstarter. Their goal was $2 million. So they well exceeded that. Brian, is there do you see any, it's not, obviously it's not illegal. Is there any moral issues for you? Do you see any issues with them receiving money from backers who, by the way, are still getting copies of the game? Nobody's getting shafted. Nobody's not getting a copy of the game if they want it. And if they don't want it, they can get their money back. Do you see any moral issues with them taking the money from the Kickstarter and then now having Epic continue to fund the development after the $6.3 million?
No, but I think from here on out, these companies are going to start, rather than saying a Steam key, rather than designating exactly what store it's going to be from, saying you will, and they've kind of changed. I don't know if they changed this after the fact. I'm assuming they've changed their page because it says a Windows PC physical copy or a Windows PC digital copy.
Yeah.
It does not say a Steam key. And so I think you'll start seeing that more and more, to where they're just going to say you will receive a PC copy of the game. And if they go at the end, they decide that they're going to do it from one store to the other, they'll do that. Because that it used to be you didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Like,
there was a monopoly. There was no competition.
Yeah, and okay, it happened. It's a Steam key. Okay, well, I'll redeem it on Steam. It wasn't yes, it's a Steam key. That's exactly what I wanted. The point is not that it's Steam. What Epic is doing is they're just getting it to where there is people have it installed. They're getting a large number of people that, just like Steam did, that have it and they run it because you know what, the games they play are in there, so they have the Epic launcher up. That's what they want.
Yeah. I can see why people are pissed off. But I just there's an out here. If you're that unhappy with what went down, you can very simply just get your money back. They are doing refunds. Are the refunds going to happen on the day that the game launches? I'm not sure. Might they take a couple weeks? They might. sometimes refunds take a little while. Nobody is not going to get the game. Nobody has said that. Everybody is on full agreement that if you want a copy of the game, you will get it. If you don't, you will get your money back. Is it going to happen day one? I have no freaking idea. I don't work for either of the companies. We won't know until day one when this game actually comes out. If it takes 2 weeks, then it takes 2 weeks. You've already given them your money. So you clearly didn't need the $120 that you gave them on Kickstarter. You'll get your freaking money back.
Yeah.
I mean, you've already given the money. The money's already, you've already lost the money for lack of a better term. The money's already gone. They've already have it. So if you want it back, it doesn't matter if it comes back the day it comes out or 2 days after it comes out. Because I see that being, there's a conversation going on about, well, it might take a month to get your refund. Who gives a shit? The money's been invested in this Kickstarter for 6 months. So is that really a make or break for you? This is the same thing we've talked about 100 times with this. If you want to play the game, install the damn launcher and play it. If you don't, then get your money back, which they are allowing you to do. If they weren't allowing a refund, I can see the outrage and I would be on the side of the people that were outraged. But there is an out. They're giving you your money back if you don't want the game. You already have it just doesn't make any sense.
I'd be very surprised if you're truly a fan of this to where you kickstarted it. If you love this franchise, I don't see why you would care which launcher you do to run it. I mean, I've downloaded games off of Kickstarters that were just exe files. They didn't even have anything else, like, because I wanted to play the game. So I don't know. I think if you're truly a fan, you'd be like, okay, I'll install the app. But you got to think they're getting so much more money off of this than they would off of Steam. I know people are saying, like Saul brought up, Steam lets you generate free keys so that you can sell them through other marketplaces and things like that. And that's true.
But it's all locked in Steam. But it's all locked in Steam.
Everything funnels back to being installed on Steam itself. So
now,
I don't know. We'll see. I will see what happens with people. I mean, as far as how many, it'll be interesting to see after it releases, how many people are actually playing it, how well the game does on the market. I mean, we can't see real numbers of sales, but we'll see if they come out with statements saying what happened.
Again, it's the same thing. First of all of the people outraged about this weren't backing the game or weren't going to buy the game. So, frankly, it doesn't matter. I still don't get it. I still don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
I just hope that the game is better than what they were going to be able to do on Steam.
I'm sure it will be.
I think with the funds that they're going to use that to make it reach all the different stretch goals and improve it beyond, because they pretty much got fund. This is another way of being funded. It should have added a lot more to their actual total funding than they received on Kickstarter. So
yeah, it should have, and I would assume it will. I can't imagine that they would
release the exact same level game with all that extra
No,
funding.
I can't imagine that they would want to lock themselves into an agreement with Epic. And of course, they knew that there was going to be backlash. We've seen it with every game that's done this so far. They knew there was going to be backlash. I can't imagine that they would lock themselves in with Epic if, in fact, they had no reason to have the money. That's kind of what I'm saying. Money is great as a company, but the owner of the company can't just take it all. Like that's what I'm. There has to be a reason for it. So in this case, they clearly think, and based on looking at their Kickstarter, they had goals up until $10 million, $11 million rather. So they had a goal. They essentially almost had double the goals of what they actually raised. So I guess they'll do all of these expansions and villages and all these other things that they said they're going to be adding into the game. That's what I would assume. So,
and if at that point, then people should be like, hey, that's great. That we couldn't quite reach that funding, but if all that's in the game, I just would think that people would be happy. So
I don't know. Again, until the games cost more on Epic or something like that, I can't sit here and bash them. I mean, if the games are $65 on Epic, I say, wow, I don't know why anybody in their right mind would be buying games on Epic. But when they're the exact same price, and in some cases have been cheaper, I don't know how. I don't know. Plus, they're giving away free games. They're giving away full free licenses of games twice a month. Where's Steam doing that? Steam's got these half-assed. Every goddamn Steam sale is the same thing. The summer sale and the winter sale every year are the same freaking games. I get the same email every year. 12 of your wish list games that have been on my wish list from 2012 are on sale again. Oh, great. McPixel is 49 cents. It's been 49 cents for 9 years. Every Steam sale. I mean, I don't get it.
We even noticed right before this, I said, oh, Dayz's on sale. It's the exact same sale that it's been.
Every single time.
Because I said, I'm not going to buy it till it goes below a certain dollar amount. And it's been at the same dollar amount. And they haven't gone down yet. So is when Factorio goes on sale.
Oh, that's a publisher decision.
I know, but I'm saying when that goes on sale, I will. I'll start bashing Epic with you.
Yeah, and by the way, free weekends doesn't really count as a free game in my in my estimation. Being able to play the game.
I mean, they've given away random like games that people don't want.
They do. Are they doing games like over?
I think I have. I don't know. I think I've seen it to where they have. But I don't.
Well, they have. Remember. But I'm saying, are they doing 2 games a month? Like, and they doing 2 quality games? Are they doing over?
It's just really randomly that you just see a game that's free once in a while.
Overcooked, for example, is going to be free starting July 4th on Epic Games. Overcooked is an incredibly popular and successful game.
Yeah.
I mean, free. Just go and redeem it. I mean, scary. Free games. How damn you. I mean, this is coming from the PC gaming audience. They won't buy anything full price, really, unless they're all into it. And when there's free games and whatnot. And I mean, I've got dozens of games in my Epic Games library, and the service has been out 5 months.
6 months?
I don't think it's been out that long. 3, 4, 5 months. I have no idea. I don't think I bought a single game on Epic. I don't think I have. So don't say, oh, look at you, switch on your. I haven't spent $1 with Epic. And until there's a good sale, their Epic Mega Sale, we bashed it. The title of the damn episode was Epic Mega Fail. Or something like that. I mean, their sale sucked. It was garbage.
Yeah, that's the thing is, I want to see. I mean, you know me, I can't resist a good sale, and I didn't buy any games on there because it's just, if you're going to do a sale, like do a sale. But the problem is, I think they have too many games right now that are new. They don't have, like Steam does, a huge library of games that have been out for 5 years. Almost all the titles on there are all new titles, so it's kind of tough for them to go and drop them that much. So I think in the future you'll start seeing bigger and bigger sales once the studios are willing to knock their price. The thing is, they don't want to drop it too much because they don't want the expectation of the price of the game to go down immediately after releasing. They need to keep it at a certain price level so people will continue, when the sale's not there, purchasing it.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure that literally not a single person that listens to this podcast actually backed this game on Kickstarter. But if you did, and you're unhappy with it, Epic will be giving you your money back. And actually, you shouldn't take your money back because Epic is evil. And, well, actually, maybe, I don't know. I wouldn't take Epic money if I were you. That sounds like that's evil black market money. So do not get your refund. It's bad, evil money from the Epic Games Store. So, just some of the ongoing drama of Epic versus Steam, and is exclusivity competition and this yada back and forth. I don't care. Buy the game. If you like the game, buy the game. If you don't like the game, don't buy it. I mean, it's just it's ridiculous. So,
all right. So, well, do we have to talk about Fortnite now, or do we wait till halfway through the show?
We need to get we need to wait till approximately 30 minutes before we can talk about Fortnite to make sure we get our double Epic money. So please wait.
All right. Just wanted to make sure. So, all right. So let's go ahead and talk about Apex Legends, the game that had a big flash in the pan and then fizzled very
I know.
quickly.
What's up? Was it last week that we talked about that, or
in the last couple of weeks?
We
did mention it.
We were like, why did we stop playing Apex? We were both like, I don't know. I don't know. just one day I stopped playing it. So who knows?
So it was it was good. I mean, that's the frustrating thing, is it was good, but it's just I didn't have the motivation to play it. But they came out with their new season 2. So if you go to their site, they have these weird, I know you've complained about this before, but they're weird patch notes that they do on the answers.ea.com site.
Yeah, they're knowledge base.
They've got that. But they put another page, which was nice, because the patch notes is just, text saying here's things, but they actually have a page for the season 2 pass. I'll put that in the chat if people want to check it out. But you can play that for free. Of course, it's a free game.
Yep.
But they have the improved battle pass they put in there. They have a new character. We were wondering, remember, I think I said we'll know how successful the game is and what they're willing to put into it if they continue putting out some new content. So here's some new content. Actually, I know they've been probably working on this for a while.
Well,
but they put out a new gun, a new character. They're doing ranked leagues.
I don't know this to be the case, but there are 93,000 people watching it on Twitch right now. I wonder if they are re-upping, because they did this on launch. It wasn't a secret. They paid a whole bunch of streamers to play the game, and for weeks was the top game on Twitch. And there's Shroud is currently playing it with almost 50,000 people watching. So I don't know if they're re-upping that or if Shroud is just playing that, but because I wanted to look at what the numbers were. I looked last week and literally nobody was streaming the game. I mean, there was like a couple of thousand people watching it. And
so they must have like, okay, we're putting this kind of a budget into getting some streamers to play, so they
maybe, I don't know.
They tried the ranked leagues.
Yeah. Again, I don't know. I don't have any insider information, but I find it to be interesting.
Yeah.
That all of a sudden it's back on the list.
We'll see. So one thing they have, I mean, if you look at the season pass, at least it gives you a reason to play. Season passes end up usually being good because people will log in every day, where if you don't do that kind of daily thing, you just kind of drop off and do something else. So they've got it to where you can get XP to level up. You can have challenges that you can do. They have legendaries in there. They have music packs. So this is kind of new. I haven't really seen too many other games do this, to where you can win you can win music packs that play while you're dropping after you win. It's their themes. So they also have emotes. I don't know if you want to play audio for that. Is there talking?
I would assume not, but I can try. Oh, man. For some reason, there's no audio on it. Oh.
Yeah. Well, we didn't need audio anyways.
Yeah, I mean, it's just characters talking.
All right. So they have some emotes that you can get, and then they have different loading screens. So so that is pretty much their season 2 battle pass, and then we'll see if there's more after this. I mean, this is probably what they've been working on kind of since for the last however many months. I wonder if this doesn't do well. Do you think they're going to continue? I assume they would do some form of a battle pass. Do you think they're just going to not put so much into it? I mean, I don't know how many people are going to be playing this.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm telling you. So I'll ask you this, Brian. Seeing this update note, or seeing this thing about the new battle pass, they got a new. What are they called? The players they're not called survivors. What, I don't know what they're called. I don't remember. But they've got a new character. Okay, so do you have any interest in jumping back? What is this? Ark here with the dinosaurs? Do you have any interest at all? Even the littlest itch of jumping back into this?
Not really.
Yeah.
I mean,
I kind of feel similar.
I could try. If people are like, "Hey, let's try it," I would do it. But I don't have an itch to play a BR. Oh, honestly, like any BR.
No, I agree, and I mean, I think it falls in that genre. Well, it's not that it falls in that genre. I think it falls in that same. I don't know if you call it category, but it's similar. I mean, are you really interested? I'm not. I don't know.
Yeah, unless I don't know. I don't know that there's anything they could really do to pull me in, just because I want something with story. I want something that's not just an instant drop in and do the same thing over and over again.
They're called Legends, by the way. Of course, that makes perfect sense.
Legends.
This is why the live show and chat is so important. Thank you. Thank you, PH. I think it's cool. I don't know if I have it installed. I have to look. I think I do. But
yeah, if you messaged me and said, "Hey, let's do a couple rounds," I would do that. But
yeah.
I don't see myself.
I see this
playing it a ton.
Well, and that's the thing. I see this. This is as I've said a million times. We have a very small sample size of opinions, but if I don't have the urge to jump back into a game, like if I'm not, for example, I'll give you an example. We talked about it last week. The new Ark DLC. I want to go play Ark. I just don't have the time right now, but I do. I actively will go and seek out. I will ask you, hey, can you? I'm ready to play this. Can you put a server up for me? And can you put a server up for the community? That's what I see as the draw. Will you go out of your way and say, I want to do this. I want to play this game based on an update. There are certain games that have done that. We do want to try the new Atlas thing. We just haven't gotten around to it. That was a game that the big mega patch, the first one, couple months ago. We actually wanted to jump back into that. But this Apex Season 2 pass and the new content and stuff like that, I don't. No part of me. I was reading through the show notes here before, and I just, okay, that's cool. Again, if somebody asks me, that'll be fine, but I'm not going to go out of my way to play it. And I feel like that's probably the general consensus.
Well, I just know if Ross isn't playing it, nobody's playing it.
Yeah, so, what's he playing right now?
I haven't seen
some weird,
I don't know. I haven't seen
some weird RTS game or something like that.
Yeah, probably. So, all right. Well, let's talk about another game that I'll never play.
Jesus.
Dayz. Dayz, they came out with their 1.04, and they actually have a video. It's only like a minute and something. I don't know if you want to play that.
Yeah, give me 1 second here.
But they added something that they've been promising for a long time in this one.
Oh,
so
can I guess?
Hopefully,
can I guess before we play the video? No. All right, no, that's fine. No, we'll play the video. So this is Dayz. This is update 1 stable 1.04.
Peggy 18.
Cutting edge.
All right, Brian. So for all of our audio listeners here, what were kind of the highlights of that video that we just watched?
Well, I mean, the biggest thing is they added grenades, the ability to throw grenades. I know this is something that Dayz, the mod had, but they never added to the base game. So they now have the ability to throw things. They've added some new weapons to this. They redid like I guess the medical system a little bit, and then a lot of fixes. So and of course they have their Steam experimental apps, so they have things that you can do with that, and it looked like they had things you would mess with mods. It's just they're just tweaking it and fixing it. But the grenades is one thing I've heard complaints over and over again of. They can't even add grenades.
It's crazy
to the Dayz standalone. How many years has this been now?
2015, probably.
Yeah.
You think about this though. Even our best friends in the world over at Daybreak, they had grades, and they actually worked relatively well, from what I remember.
Yeah.
The problem is there were so many other issues in the game that the grenades kind of got a pass, even though they may have been broken. But they had that. They had it from day one, from what I remember. And
well,
I get it.
If they were on Unreal, we could add grenades in an afternoon. But that
this is on the
Bohemia Interactives.
Yeah. Firebomb's, I guess, a Dayz apologist. Nisco says something interesting. He said Shroud, the streamer, has his own server. You need to wait like 3 hours in a line to get in, and if you're not lucky, it will be night and pitch black. So there is an interest. I mean, it's not that people don't play Dayz. We'll do a special current players to them at the end of the show. So I'll tell you exactly. It's one of those games that I know for a fact a lot of people have. And I mean, I can just look at my friends list here real quickly and tell you, that I've got 83 friends who own this game. I bought it in 2013. I think I bought it right when it came out. So you're talking about a game that is 6 years old. And
they just added a vomit emote. That's one of their big things they added.
Priorities, I guess.
Yep.
So I mean, it's interesting. I
can't believe it's taking them this long to get base functionality of Arma.
Well, I can't compare. I don't have the experience to talk about.
It's crazy that they're building it on a very difficult engine.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm kind of hesitant.
Still 6 years.
It is, and I'm hesitant to really bash them over stuff like that. But
people have made engines in that time.
They have. I would just say, as an avid Dayz Arma mod player, when I say I have zero interest in playing the Dayz standalone, that is an understatement. Yeah. I mean, now the last time I played it was on the Xbox. I got a copy of the Xbox game preview or whatever it is, copy of it. And I played it for a little while. We talked about it on the program. I think I uploaded the video to YouTube. It wasn't anything great. So when it came out, it seemed so interesting because we had just come out of all that stuff with H1Z1, and it seemed like, oh, it has all these features, like it looks good, and then it just hasn't really changed that much since. In my opinion, what was so interesting about it at the time, and again, you have to go back to 2011, 2012, it was interesting because the mod was so popular. I mean, for a period of time in 2011 to 2012, it was every YouTuber was playing it. It was all over at that time, Justin TV. Everybody was playing it on Justin TV, and it was so. I don't know if I want to use the word revolutionary, but I will, for lack of a better term. It was so revolutionary that they said, "Well, we'll make our own game, and the result has been less than lackluster." And
the problem is most people would say, "All right, we'll make this game again," and usually what they do is they make it in Unity or they make it in Unreal, and these guys are making it under the new. As PH pointed out, the new engine that Arma 4 is going to be on. And so they're not doing themselves any favors because it's an engine that's being built and they're probably having to write a lot of stuff from scratch. They didn't make it easy on themselves. And most companies, when they leave a modding platform, they're like, oh, well, let's go and find what gives us the most features and the most abilities to really make the game that we want. They don't go through and make it on something that obviously isn't easy to work on.
Yeah.
Or else you would have had grenades in there a long time ago.
Well, I played 33 hours of the game. I would assume that those were probably back in 2013, 2014. And honest to God, I don't remember it. None of it was spectacular enough where I remember. I remember playing the Arma 2 mod. I remember that. I don't remember really playing the standalone. There was nothing that stuck out to me as.
I played the standalone, or the Arma 2 mod. I liked that. I mean, it was fun, but it was now that I played a lot more Arma, for me, it's very much like Arma with zombies.
Yeah.
So
there you go. Dayz news. If you were hoping for a revolutionary patch, you're gonna have to continue it. You got to give them credit though. At least they're working on it, right? They haven't pushed it to the side. They still believe they're gonna release a full final version of the game. So at some point, maybe, who knows?
I mean, they're at a point where, they're probably close to where they could say it's close to a final version. I don't know what else they're expecting to add.
Yeah.
It's just, if it's not fun, it's not fun.
Yeah. And PH is also bringing up the mod was amazing, but not in today's, that is something that is true as well. Back when that was being done. It took too long. Well, it's not even that, but just again, we talk about this mystical time back when there was just for some reason, it was like games were changing.
A game like H1Z1 could be funded and be so popular.
Well, yeah, I mean, there was just like a big change. It was kind of that period where smaller, and at the time, obviously, SOE was a big developer, but you had these massive games kind of popping up out of nowhere and obviously I think that was all kind of in conjunction with the live stream, more consistent live streaming of video games on Twitch and stuff like that.
And we've talked about the economy I think played a huge part in it. They weren't putting out titles every 2 weeks back then. And so you'd get a title once in a while. A lot of people didn't have jobs. A lot of people had a lot more time. They weren't wanting to go out and spend money. That made a huge difference, I think. And it made a boom in that kind of type of game where now, like, I mean, I've got Red Dead Redemption 2. I've got a list of games that I could play that look beautiful, play well. Why would I go and play H1Z1?
I've got games in packaging that I haven't even opened from Christmas 4 years ago. I mean, the PS4 games still sitting there.
You just need to open them.
For what? I'm not going to play them.
You can play those.
I'm not going to play them.
You could sell them on eBay.
I'm not going
to. Edition.
No, I've got that Last of Us collection with all the games. It's no interest. Not no interest. Just no drive, no push, no.
Last of Us was fun. Like
I played the fourth one or whatever one came with my PlayStation.
Yeah,
I don't know which one came with it, but
the Last of Us. Are you thinking?
You're right. I'm not. I'm thinking of the other game.
I think a different game. I was going to say there's not 4 Last of Us.
No,
there's 2.
It's the other game. The
Uncharted. Is that what
yeah. Maybe.
That's the one that usually comes with it.
Uncharted 4, yes, I believe came. 3, 4, one of those. And then I bought the collection, which was all the games. And it hasn't been opened.
Yeah, I can understand that. But I was going to say, with The Last of Us, you need to play, at least play them
I own a copy of that. I
out.
own that, I believe. I can't read from here. If you talk for a second, I can go figure out if I own it or not.
No, I'm sure you own The Last of Us. But that's one of the reasons I bought a PS4 in the first place, was The Last of Us and then Red Dead. I wanted to play Red Dead before the new one came out. And that's the only reason that I got a PS4. And now I play mostly PS4, which is kind of sad.
So I do.
All right, I think Nick has got it.
I own Uncharted 4 and The Last of Us Remastered, and then I own the Uncharted collection. And The Last of Us... Uncharted I haven't opened. The Last of Us, I guess I played some portion of it. Same thing with Uncharted 4.
Have you not beat it yet?
No, I want to say I played like 20%.
You need to play it before the new one comes out, but you have until next year. So
I guarantee I don't play it. Oh, but Brian, it's this conversation we've had a million times. Why? Why this specific game? What about Red Dead? Okay, so is Red Dead Redemption.
You need to play Red Dead. So
I understand. I need to do all of these things. That's what I'm saying. Oh, by the way,
quit your job.
I don't want to go there. I do want to say, are we done with DayZ talk?
Yeah, we're done with DayZ.
Brian, I've got a game that you need to play.
Okay.
MORDHAU, that a listener of our show purchased a copy for you and I don't believe you've played yet. Is that an accurate statement?
Not yet.
Okay. Well, our good friend Maltros purchased us both copies of the game. This is the if you played Chivalry back in the day, this is kind of like it's kind of like a newer version of Chivalry, and there's a couple different modes. There's a battle royale mode. There's a regular like stronghold kind of thing with like 5 or 6, like a ground war style game mode where it's 32 versus 32. There's a couple other smaller team deathmatch modes. I had a really good time with it. I didn't play a whole lot of it. I played maybe a couple of hours of it, and I can see why people are really enjoying it. It's definitely a game that it's very casual, and it also seems like it would be a lot of fun to be in a Discord or other VoIP chat with somebody while playing it. And
because let me know over the holiday if you happen to be sitting down.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to play it with somebody. I've got 20 friends that own it here on Steam. And it's, it's a very realistic isn't necessarily the right word, but if you're a guy running you have a very long sword, you have to wind it up. There's a whole process. It's not like a game where press X and the sword just cuts the guy in half. There's a wind up, and while you're winding it up, some guy's hitting you in the back with a hatchet and blocking you with a shield. So it's very similar to Chivalry in that regard. All of the movement is very dramatic, which means you don't sometimes you're running through and some guy's winding up a sword and you happen to be in the receiving end of the long wind up of the sword. the broadsword, and
broadsword,
and then you get cut in half. So, that I don't know. I thought it was fun. I had a good time with it.
I'll try it out.
Yeah.
I decided I'm doing like a push on school right now. But I decided on 4th of July I'll play some games.
Okay. Well, I won't be around on the 4th of July, but well, maybe I will be in the afternoon. But yeah, Mordor. Check it out. It is on Steam. Is it on sale? I wonder. It's on, of course, Steam, the greatest platform ever. It's been out. It's only been out since the end of April 29th. It's got 30,000 reviews. 81% of them are positive.
That's $29.99.
Yeah, and it's $29.99. So not a bad price for a game. Again, I've only played.
Run through like Rust right now. It's $8.74 if you don't own Rust. So make sure No Man's Sky is a steal at $29.99.
You couldn't pay me to play that
one. I know you want that one.
Yeah. Buy 2 copies just so I can hate myself even more.
There's a lot of the games that we play. Conan is on sale. I'm sure SCUM is on sale. There's a lot of games on sale. So if there's one that you have known that we play on a regular basis,
Tabletop's on sale.
Tabletop is definitely one you want to grab.
Yeah,
$9.99, which is a great price for that game. So
yes. So, and then when does the sale run until? It runs from, it started last
week. To the 9th, so it ends on the 9th.
Okay, so that is, that's next Tuesday. So you've got from this show to next show. If there's something that we need to mention, sale-wise, send us a tweet, and we'll tweet it out or put it in Discord or whatnot if there's a specific game that you see that's on sale. Firebomb mentions... Go ahead.
There's a game that Saul had recommended. It's like Peak Hospital or something. It's like a remake of the Theme Hospital. You remember that game? You never played. You were too young. All right. But that one's on sale, so I'm considering getting that one.
I do want to say that Firebombs bring up that all of the Dead by Daylight DLC is on sale. I picked up 2 of those. So those are good. Those are like $3 or $4 a piece, which is pretty good.
Yeah, it wouldn't let me buy them, so sorry.
Go ahead. Okay, what do you want to talk about, Brian? You want to be a smart ass here?
All right, so let's go ahead and let's talk a little bit about Fallout.
Oh, Fallout there's a game I bought and literally have not played.
I don't think I'll buy. I am.
You want to play?
Unless something amazing happens.
You want a team viewer into my computer and play it? I'm sure the experience would be just as good as playing the base game via a remote desktop.
Okay. Yeah, the frame rate, everything would be perfect.
Hey, it would be similar experience.
So they did a patch for all 3 PC, PS4, and Xbox on this. And so this is their 10.5 patch. They've added some like Under Armour. Players can now favorite 1 Under Armour in the Atomic Shop for use in Nuclear Winter. And this is changes to Nuclear Winter. And also you can do 1 headwear and 1 outfit. The automatic rifle can now be found in small supply crates rather than pre-existing containers in the world. Some machine guns can now be found in medium supply crates rather than the small supply crates. And then supply crates, they adjusted the density in a few areas where more crates were spawning than intended. The Dead Man Sprinting perk was not applying correctly, so they fixed that. The Overseer progression, so they have the terminals. So they've added some entries to the Zax terminals that can be unlocked by reaching Overseer rank, which is level 100. They added a more info button to the tutorials so that you can on the winter perk card menu, which can now be used to reopen the perk card tutorial. So, and other than that, they did some bug fixes with adjustments to some of the graphics and things like that. Fixes to this nuclear winter thing they're doing. So that's pretty much it. They added some tweaking spawns, things how they go into the crates, and then they added where you can favorite your Under Armour. So
I still think
big progress.
I still think that at some point, I don't know when, I don't know if it'll be now, I don't know when, but I really do believe at some point they will this game will be not that it's not popular. No, I think it will have a resurgence at some point.
Why
I don't know
go
when.
Free to play if you're going to be selling crates and things. They're selling crates. Why not just go free to play? You'll get more people at this point.
Well, I don't think that's in Bethesda's wheelhouse, Brian.
Yeah. But they shouldn't be selling crates or chests and crates and all these things if they are not willing to go that way.
Well, I don't know. It takes courage or whatever BS Todd Howard said during the E3 press conference 2 years ago.
No. Well, I have no interest. Even like looking at this patch, there's nothing that interests me to play this game. Yeah, I love Fallout.
Yeah, the Nuclear Winter mode I thought was interesting. I haven't had a chance to play it. I think our friend Jonesy was playing it. He was streaming it maybe right when they announced it. He was streaming it, and
PH pointed out their mobile app was free, and I paid for some of the perks on that.
Yeah,
so I actually put money into it.
I understand their mobile app wasn't a full-fledged game. I mean, and then it came to Steam. Is it free on Steam? I don't believe so. Maybe it is. I don't know. But let's not compare Fallout Shelter to a full open world game like Fallout 76.
Yeah, it's free to play on there, but they sell things on it. So.
Yeah, but it's a different caliber of game. I mean, it's a side-scrolling Sim City. Essentially, I mean,
but very limited. Like
incredibly.
For me, I hit a max. I couldn't build anything. Like I hit the cap, and I was like, "Well, that's stupid." Like it was like you can't build any more things. Well, what's the point? Like, what else can I do? Couldn't upgrade anything. I couldn't do anything.
Yeah, Fallout Shelter was
like
fun.
In a couple weeks.
I'll tell you what though, Fallout Shelter was I want to say that and Hearthstone were the only two games I ever played for. They were both short periods of time, but for any length of time. Like I installed Fortnite and PUBG Mobile when those both first came out, but the only reason I played them was to talk about it on here. But I actually, when Fallout Shelter got announced, I must have played it for a couple weeks, and the same thing with Hearthstone when they announced that on iPads and
I used to play a decent
iPhones.
amount of Hearthstone. It's just takes too much time to do one game, and I just kind of just didn't want to do it anymore. But it was fun. I mean, it's a good game.
It is a good game. But I did enjoy Fallout Shelter. That's I guess what I'm trying to say. It was a good game for what it was and when it came out. Again, you're talking.
It's just they didn't have. That's the thing is there was definitely a limit. Maybe they've added more content to it. I mean, I don't really feel like installing it again, but maybe they added more content now because within the first couple of weeks, like there was definitely a content cap.
Oh yeah. I mean, it was a mess the first week because they announced it right before E3, I think, or right after. It was either during E3. I think it was. It was during E3. I was a senior in high school, so 2015 is when they would have announced it. Because I went to a movie. You know, talk about nerdy. I drove with a couple buddies of mine. We drove from Albany to. I got to look at a map. I don't remember exactly where we went. We drove like 4.5 or 5 hours to practically the border of Canada. We drove all the way up to Burlington, Vermont to watch Sony's 2015 E3 press conference on a movie theater screen.
Oh, I remember that.
That was a good time.
I remember you saying you were doing it. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the same year that Fallout Shelter, because my one buddy was driving and all of us were playing Fallout Shelter, and he was real pissed. we were for 4 hours we did nothing but play Fallout Shelter.
Now you can play Fallout Shelter on the plane for 4 hours.
I won't. I wonder if I should bring my Switch. It's probably a good idea. All right, enough.
Good excuse to use it.
Yeah, no, it'll sit home in the dock. Conan Exiles is on sale. It is 50% off, and it's a good deal at $40. It's a hell of a deal at $19.99, which is what it's on sale for. And that is a part of the Steam summer sale, so you can go ahead and pick that up, or you can get the deluxe edition. This is a pretty good deal now too, Brian. It's all of the paid DLC, all the paid packs rather, and it is 50% off. So for $35, which is less than the price of the base game, you get the deluxe edition, which is most of the DLC, or the complete edition, which is $50, $49.99. You get all you get all of the items and the season pass, which is pretty cool. So those are all good deals.
Yep. So definitely check it out, and that's for 1 week, as Nick said.
Yep. And
until next show to be able to do this. I did start the game giveaway.
Okay, yeah. What are we doing?
Mention that real quick. So exclamation point giveaway in chat, and we'll be giving away a copy of Moonlighters, an action RPG with roguelite elements, and it's a pixel graphics game. Very positive rating for recent, mostly positive for all reviews, and yeah, we'll give it away here at the end of the show, so just about an hour.
So part of that Steam sale with this, they actually did Conan, that we're talking about, had a content patch on the 25th. They just had a content patch 3 weeks ago or something like that, and they've added it's called Warmaker's Sanctuary, which is a new, I don't remember what they call these things. They're not called dungeons or something. They're not. I don't know what they're called, but it's kind of like the bosses in
equivalent to a dungeon, though.
Yeah. So they've added this new. It's a champion, they call it. There's a new Warmaker's champion in the Warmaker's Sanctuary, which is a new dungeon for a season party of level 60 adventurers. So a very hard 60 is the max level cap without modding, and it's in there. They've also done what they're calling a population revamp on factions, capitals, and caves. This is one thing that was always a little bit weird about Conan is the caves in the southern part of the map, the easier part of the map, were very easy. Like there were 6 people to kill in the entire, and it's a big cave system, relatively big cave system.
We got to think of probably what level they're expecting you to do that at.
Well, we did them early levels, and we would the cave was like, oh, here's 4. Oh, there's 4 guys in here. That's it. You were expecting a big wave, and there was maybe a half a dozen or a dozen guys. So they're doing some repopulation of the caves, which I think is probably a good idea. I always remember that being like, what? This is kind of, because the problem is you run it with 3 people. And you don't get any XP for anything because you kill two NPCs. It's just, maybe solo it's a lot harder, but in my experience it wasn't anything great. So they also did an overhaul of the temperature system, which it plays a huge part into it. They say that it changes to your survival and agility attributes, as well as additional weapon balances to make combat more rewarding. We've also added a ton of quality of life improvements, bug fixes, including a solution for the God's protection problem. Build stacking.
There's a video. I don't know if you want to play that in the background. It's only like a minute, but it's just music, so we could just do.
Oh yeah.
do the video itself, because it's not any. So this will show some of the new dungeon things they're doing.
Yeah, I mean it all looks. The game looks. I don't know what word it doesn't. It's not arc level, but it is impressive. The level of
very
detail.
Near arc level. It just has less. It's just different.
Maybe everything's a lot. Lots of clay-based buildings and things that are very just brown.
They're
and gray.
trying to make it feel like Conan. They're not.
Yeah.
If you look at Conan the movies, like they're in the desert and they're not crazy colors and weird things. So here's some of the new armor and weapons, which is kind of. It looks funny. I mean, it's totally medieval.
Yeah. As most of it is.
Yep. So yeah, so revamp the capitals, which is if you're really into this and you into art, like there's a lot of people that are into role playing with this. I think that's going to be really good for them, because I think the capitals were not epic enough for people that are role playing. They're more just buildings here and there. I think they're putting in a lot bigger buildings now. Yeah.
So that was just on the 25th. And by the way, I don't think I can stress enough the amount of content that they release in this game is pretty incredible. I mean, even things like this that you wouldn't think of. They've added a new feat called Painters, and I mean, you just look at the level of detail that you're able to do here. These are, I don't know if these are Steam screenshots or things that you can import into the game. But Arc, you were able to do this in Arc. It required some third-party drawing tool. It probably is against their terms of service to use that tool, and it was just a real pain in the ass. This is some sort of in-game decorations, these wooden picture frames with very high-resolution images inside of them. So you talk about, and all of their content patches.
Sounds like we need a war room.
Well, we had exactly, that's what we had in Ark. But you look at this game, and for what was it, $39.99, you get all 5 of the cosmetic DLC packs. You are talking about a copious amount of content and on top of the base game. This game, for whatever reason, just doesn't get. I don't think they get enough love and enough credit. You talk about solid updates, constant fixes, constant quality of life, constant cosmetics and fixes, and new things, new caves, new POIs all the time. This game has been out for. I mean, I'd have to look. It came out in May of 2018. Yeah, you're talking about for a year and a half. They have done constant update, constant content, just month after month after month.
And I think that there is a big role-playing community behind this, but that's still not a ton of players doing role-play and things like that. But I think they have a very consistent that will buy those DLCs, because I mean, if you're a role player, you want the ability to do that sort of thing. So I think they've got a faithful player base, but they just need to get it to where your average player goes back in and plays it.
Well, and they do something interesting with their DLC. Their prices of them, they sell their DLC normally for $9.99. It's all of it's 20% off during the Steam sale, so you can get it for $7.99. But they price their DLC at a point where actually our buddy Lance has purchased a couple of the DLCs for an item or two, because at $9.99 it's like the perfect price point for DLC. It's right at that teetering point where people are willing to buy it for. And I remember whatever one we used, or I used it through him, was a sword skin or something like that, or an armor skin and building components. And for him, it was worth $9.99 to make that happen.
Well, and the amount of content they're giving you for $9.99, I compare that to Elite Dangerous, where you get a bobblehead for inside your ship that no one's ever going to see for the same price. Like, this is a lot more bang for your buck. I
mean, it's been well documented by the people over at Funcom rather, how much money they've made off Conan Exiles, and it in a lot of ways, they sold obviously a lot of copies of the game, but the structure of the DLCs, how it's completely cosmetic. All of the content, all of the bosses and everything are in the game itself. All of that is in the base game, and all of these things are just cosmetics and building components and things like that. And they've done.
So check it out, especially during the sale. So make sure if you're going to purchase it or you're going to get some cosmetics, get them in the next week so that you have the opportunity to get them for a little bit cheaper.
Now, Brian, I know we don't necessarily keep a notebook of things as we used to. Well, we do, but we don't ever refer to it. But if we were keeping an active notebook, which I hope you still have, but if we were keeping a notebook, I would believe that in a note written somewhere back in February of this year, there would have been a note from Mr. Brian Aldridge that said, "I'll tell you this, Atlas is going to go single player." There would have been a note in that journal if we had keeping track of it. And that is, in fact, what we saw this week. A tweet that they haven't released it, but we had a tweet this week from Atlas, kind of out of the blue. We're testing out single player right now and hope to have a beta available by the end of the week. So they are racing towards single player. I've heard nothing about this. And again, I'm not all into the Atlas community, but I've heard nothing about this. But they tweeted on the 27th, so Thursday, that they want to have a beta by the end of the week. I would assume that means this week. What are your thoughts here, Brian? Atlas, can it even work as a? We know the whole issues with not having a player base, but is this a single player game?
If they add quests, what are you going to do in a single player game? You won't have ship battles other than shooting those NPCs, which they're really going to have to improve the AI. They do have the new underwater things. So I think they're just finally adding content that you can accomplish by yourself, as far as building that, that submarine that goes down, and you could create content that way. They really need to make the towns and AI and make it to where you go into a town and there's people there, kind of like what they showed in the original teaser video that ended up being all player characters. They need to have it to where that similar thing is happening with NPCs. They're hanging a person, and there's things happening in the town that makes it feel alive. Right now, they don't have any of that. So I don't know what they expect you to do in single player. I mean, they do have all the NPC guys that can run your ship. They definitely would have to make that available.
Well, I would assume that the single player beta is the building requirements are going to be far less extreme than they are on the server. There's no way you're going to be collecting.
But I'm curious,
120,000
the loading
wood.
times.
Yeah.
I'm curious how they're going to handle loading from map to map. Are they going to make a new map that's not in so many grids?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like only loading certain sections. That's one big map, or are they going? That's what I'm curious, because you're not going to want a single player to every grid be loading a whole new server.
Well, I would say yes, because the whole purpose of the grid and the multiple servers is so that you can have, as they have stated, 40,000 players. So you can have an MMO. Without that, it seems like you make a map and you just put 8 or 9 islands on it and call it a day. Yeah, that's how it seems to me.
They're just going to make a large map, not have the big grid system. Just make a larger than the one grid map that is your single player map.
Because if there's nothing occupying those islands, which there isn't going to be, there's not going to be player built bases. The NPCs don't build bases. So with that being the case, what would be the point of having 90 islands? I mean, just go to it, get some resources, and go on to the next.
Don't you think it'll take away from it, though, being not so epic as far as the size? I mean, that's part of what makes it cool, is it's just so big. Well, and you want to go explore some crazy section. And if you're only going to have 4 blocks, it's like, I discovered it all.
Well, and I agree. I mean, that is a huge problem. I mean, I don't know what their solution is to it. They've got the beta mode available.
It's hard to control. I mean, that's the thing. It's hard to control. If you have a game that's on land, like, you can make it difficult to get places. But when you have a lot of ocean and you're going to give somebody a ship, like, it's hard to control them not going and seeing the whole thing in the first week. Yeah. Or, the first few days, the first day even, possibly. Like, I'm just not sure how they're going to stretch it like they did Ark. They use the dinosaurs and all these things to really stretch it out over time. This is going to be tough because with Ark, you could have so many different dinosaurs you could pick from. Well, there's a limited number of ships, so you don't want them making it to where it takes you 2 weeks to build a ship to try to stretch it out over 2 weeks.
So looking at it right now, the single player implementation that they have you can modify a JSON file, and you can play on, it says, any world JSON you want. So I guess they've got all of so essentially you're playing on one grid is what it sounds like. That's what the worlds are.
Well,
right?
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, I can do this already. So the script that I put on GitHub, right, is for running your own servers like this. So you load into JSON file. You can put whatever kind of map you want in there.
Oh, okay.
And then it loads however many instances. Now, I saw someone make a mod similar to mine, but it was for single player already. And this was when it first came out. And what it would do is, as you started to approach a border, it would then spin up those instances.
Damn.
And you had the full map. So it would only be loading the ones that are, around you. But as you approach the border, it would detect that. It would spin up that instance. So then you would be able to transition over, and it would shut down the one that was the farthest from you.
That's pretty cool.
So it kept a number of instances running, and it allowed, I mean, you could do it multiplayer. You could even had like a group of 4, as long as you all stayed together. You could go and go across the ocean. I don't know what happened if one of you died and then spawned somewhere else. It could create a mess. But this was possible, and some random person made it the first week that this came out. So I don't know what all they're really trying to do as far as the JSON file, if they're going to allow a grid, or if this sounds like it's just going to be, you could make one really big map as long as your computer could handle it.
They've also made some pretty big changes to the landscape that made this update apparently very large. And the optimization allows us to reduce the current install size of the game by, they're saying, about 33%, which is so
50 gigs.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big number. So they've done that. it is very beta. Obviously, the single player. The fact that the way that you change worlds is by modifying a JSON file.
Like, why don't the thing I don't understand is, okay, so just so people understand the JSON file and how the world works with Atlas, what you're doing is these each of these islands are their own asset by themselves. So that an island, you can't like pick and choose things on an island. Like, you're choosing this island and you're placing it in this place in the world. Well, the JSON file, all that does is say, all right, this island goes here, this island goes here, and it's just stating where the islands are placed on the map. And so I don't know why. I mean, if they were to remake it over, which they're not going to do, it seems like it would make more sense for single player to just mark where these are and then stream everything in as you go.
Like Minecraft.
Yeah, like you're streaming it in and just remembering where things are, and you unload the island when you're far enough away, and you're not doing it based on a big map. You're doing it based on, okay, it's all ocean, but then when I get to a certain point, load this in. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just seems like that would make so much more sense. But, you know, they've already made it this way when they originally were making it for servers, which that way makes more sense for servers, not doing the streaming thing.
Yeah. So you have to modify the file, then you have to back up your saved Atlas local folder, back it up, and then delete your saved game data with the in-game save delete button. So they weren't kidding when they said very early beta. So let me ask you this, Brian, not everybody is going to be capable of doing this. Most people will. I mean, it's not very complicated. To me, the fact that they would add something into this game that is so beta like this, is this an indication of how quickly they are trying to maybe offload this project? Because this is almost unexcusable. That you would say, hey, single player, but go and screw around with JSON files and make sure you keep
how their servers were, though, too. I mean, their servers for Linux are just a mess. I mean, like, that's what my mod was, or my thing on GitHub was, to make it to where people could install Linux servers. And there was very, very, very little support from them in making that. Like, they put out stuff that was so, like, the way that you make the map files was just a program that wasn't very easy to use, and the documentation was horrible. Like, I don't know. I think they anticipated everybody was going to be playing on their servers, and then quickly realized that's not what was going to happen.
So, not to give them a pass, but it's not unheard of for running a server for a game to be somewhat convoluted or complicated. That's not unheard of.
But I don't think they originally intended. I have a feeling that they thought that this was going to be 100%. Everybody was going to be playing on dedicated, and everybody was going to be so excited about it. They're going to be packing these 40,000 people servers. And then when everything started dropping off, I think they realized, we need to run private servers so that people could run their own.
Agreed.
And this is expensive. And now it's turning to single player, which would probably allow them to say, hey, we're really cutting down on the public servers. You have the option to play single player or host your own server.
So the point I'm trying to get to, I guess, here is if you decide, hey, I'm going to host my own server, you have probably some technical knowledge. You need to be able to make, you are in the mindset of, I'm going to have to maybe make a custom modification. I'm going to have to maybe do some tweaking. If you're trying to play a single player version of a game, my point is every person trying to play single player might not be capable, without watching a YouTube video, of going in here and trying to figure out what exactly they need to do. So,
and they may have a computer that barely runs the game by itself.
And the fact that they're asking you to save a copy of this folder locally, back up this folder to do whatever with. So I see this as a huge red flag, because I don't know why you'd add such an alpha. This is such an alpha integration of single player into the game, unless you are really trying to get
They
out.
really should have put a server editor inside of the game, like a map editor.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But you're not even a map editor. How about a map selector? This doesn't. If all you're modifying if all you're changing out is a file name, they could have built a very rudimentary map selector, some kind of screen. They could have this. Yeah. This isn't crazy. All you're doing is modifying a file. So why this? I know you don't have the answer, but Why? I don't understand this. This is incredible that this would be added to the game.
Yeah.
So early on. Why?
And they're gonna have a lot of people that are messing up things with those JSON files.
Yeah, of course. People don't know what the hell they're doing,
easy.
man. Not everybody that plays video games is a tech nerd. Not everybody that plays PC video games is comfortable modifying files. That's what I don't understand about. And I understand it's beta, but why so early? Because the fact that it's in the game now means they're probably not going to be like, oh, number one priority is finishing this single player thing. Oh, well, it's in the game already. Yeah, it's in there.
I just think they're really way below estimates of what people are playing.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that they made these huge servers and they don't even come close to filling them.
And PH is saying, I'm pretty sure it's just meant for testing. It is early access. I understand it's meant for testing. I just can't believe. There's a rush. There's a rush. So why are they rushing?
Less barrier to entry, I think, is the thing.
Why is there a rush? You rush for a reason. Most people just don't rush for no reason. You rush because of time. You rush because of money. People rush for various reasons. Why are they rushing single player? Unless it's a sinking, no pun intended, a sinking ship, and they have got to offload this project, and they've got to either transition these people to other games or lay them off. That's the only thought. Why else would you be rushing this? It seems rushed. You tweet on Thursday, and then it's in the game Saturday. Nothing.
How many other games does this company have? Like, they're not making a ton of sales on Ark still. I mean, there's people playing it, but these are people that have been playing it. They probably have a trickle of sales.
Yeah.
I doubt people are purchasing Atlas anymore. Like, what else do they have that brings in money?
I'm not sure.
So they've got to be doing something. They can't go and do this forever. They can't go on this, like, we're going to live off of the old Ark sales. Like, that money's probably gone.
Yeah.
And I think they expected a lot more money from Atlas.
I think so. I think it's blatantly obvious looking at the cleanup that they're trying to do with this now, and they're making the game size smaller and all these now optimization to make the game run smoother.
A lot of people are asking,
player.
like, what about console? When are we going to have console?
I guarantee you this game doesn't come to console. Why?
I can't imagine trying to play it on console.
I don't think it would be a good game on console at all.
Yeah.
So with that, they did a couple of other updates. They've done some changes to crew members. Crew members will now take food/gold from the following structures in this priority. So if they're on land, being in and around your base, the first priority is a resource box and a food larder. The second is a silo, and the third is a claim flag. So that's the hierarchy for that. And if they're on a ship or on an anchored boat, it will be a silo. The second priority is a claim flag. The third priority is a resource box and food larder. So they're kind of flipped depending on if you're on a boat or on land.
Yeah.
So they've done some changes to how those NPCs are grabbing resources. Because you do have to pay them and they have to eat. That's kind of how that works. That's the cost of having those NPCs doing things for you.
Yeah, and PH is bringing up, they did put Ark out on the mobile, but part of the issue, I don't see the Ocean Tech going to mobile.
Yeah, but they put it out. I mean, I have a copy of it.
Yeah, but I'm saying for Atlas, I don't see that Ocean Tech working correctly on a mobile.
But Ark didn't work correctly on mobile either. And Ark is much less
Ocean
complicated.
Was much less.
No, but I'm just saying in general, the game complicatedness of the game, Ark is a lot less complicated than Atlas is. I mean, you talk about the preciseness that you need to steer these boats in with wind direction and everything. I think it would be
a much more dumbed down version. They probably would use the ocean similar, something that looks kind of like Ark's, and it just wouldn't be the same feeling that you get when you play Atlas.
Yeah. So kind of similar, lackluster, blah, gray, bland news from Atlas. I don't think there's a whole lot of enthusiasm there, and it's blatantly obvious based on the current players, which we'll get to here in a little while.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about Outlaws.
Oh,
really quick. Outlaws of the Old West, and this isn't so much about some of the updates, but there's some changes at the company, and I just wanted to run this by you. So first of all, they said they have a new community manager, and it's weird because like the way he announces, he's like, in the spirit of keeping the wizard theme that was established, I'll be known as Wizard Khalifi, which I don't know why on a Western game they're going by as wizards, but and so he's going to be the new community manager. Now here's some drama. It says, first off, we saw that there was some confusion about First Wizard's role during his tenure as sheriff of the Wild West, and would like to put clear things up. First Wizard was not head of the project. He was not a developer, nor was he a lead for Outlaws development. So at this time, there will be no changes in the Outlaws development team, and development will continue to proceed normally. So they're apologizing for a misconception. I assume, from what I can tell, people, or maybe he put himself across this way, whoever their community manager was putting himself as the head of the project.
Yeah, the decision maker.
Yeah, when he had none of those abilities.
He's the PR guy, not the decision guy. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think he was just kind of putting himself as something. But another thing they're doing is they're changing their patch schedule, which,
by the way, this guy's name is Wizard Khalifa, which is Wiz Khalifa is a rapper, so his name is Wizard Khalifa.
Well, good for him. All right.
I'm just I know you're not I know you're not all up on
not in the hip hop scene.
Well, it's not hip hop, it's rap. But I know you're not in the scene. But it's not Wizard.
You're from New York,
Wizard Khaleesi from Game of Thrones. This is a Wizard Khalifa, as in the rapper Wiz Khalifa. So
okay, well, good for him. All right, so
good for him.
And so so they're changing the patch schedule. So now they're going to be going to monthly patches.
This is a good move.
Yeah, because I think when you get into a rush, we've seen this with companies when they get all gung ho. They're like, "Oh, we're going to put out weekly content and da da da." That's not easy to do, and you introduce a lot of bugs, and people have problems. And so I think that once a month, and then doing hot fixes and things as they need to be done on a regular basis, that's fine. But doing once a month content is perfectly fine, because then you're not seeing those very rushed like barns that we looked at. Because we have to get content out, so let's put out what we have.
Yeah, this is all part of managing expectations. We've seen, I feel like literally every single game that we've talked about originally was weekly, and you see the weekly, and then it's just like, oh, you guys did nothing this week, so you just wrote a whole bunch of mumbo jumbo BS, put it on an update note, and pushed it.
A barn together.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, you can tell. I mean, so this is all, frankly, I understand the point of they obviously, a lot of these developers do weekly updates so they can get the publicity on this program, but doing monthly updates just gives you so much more flexibility, and there's just there's no reason to do weekly updates unless, for example, XERA, we're gonna run into the exact same thing. Right now, they're trying to do weekly content and bug fixes. That's not attainable. It's not long term. Yeah. It's not. It's unrealistic.
Yeah, because then you're constantly having to push out a client, and you're cutting something short.
No, when the problem shows up when you have to fix an actual game breaking issue, and there's a huge thing that sucks away 70% of your week, and then you go, oh crap, we have 2 days, so you hodgepodge some BS together and throw it in the game.
Yep.
So and we've seen it happen. I think
having
times.
A month cycle will be much better for them.
Agreed.
And make better content. And I hope this game does well. I mean, this would be a game that, if they can get the graphics better and really put it together well, they could make it a very interesting game. But it's still very early development. Yeah, just from looking at it. So,
hey,
we will see.
Yes. Speaking of BR games, everybody's favorite, the OG BR game, PUBG. They pushed out an update this week, and there's a couple of cool things in here. They've got a really neat new vehicle. It's the BRDM2, and it's a I don't know the name of this kind of military vehicle, but it is a very large armored multi-person military vehicle, which fits obviously well into the game. As well as with that, they've also added a new weapon, the Deagle, which is a very common gun in these kinds of games. It's interesting though, because a lot of times you'll see that Deagles shoot 50 cals. That's a way that you can get Deagles, and This one actually, though, is shooting 45 ACP ammo, which doesn't do any... You'll see in games, the Deagle... I'm trying to think what game has the Deagle, and it does a boatload of headshot damage. I don't remember what...
Isn't it Counter-Strike?
Well, Counter-Strike, yeah, but there's another...
They have a Deagle. Yeah, that's what I usually see on there.
But there's another game, too. I feel like a game that I play that... or have played recently that has got a Deagle, and you can just...
Oh, was it the new Call of Duty? Was it
Blackout?
The Call of Duty where you could do like
Blackout.
the dual Blackout, and they had like the dual wielding Deagles that were just
because they shoot 50 cal, which is an incredibly does a lot of damage. The 50 cal is what the sniper shoots. Snipers can shoot, but this one deals 62 damage per shot, and it can be equipped with the red dot and the holographic sight in various magazines and a laser sight that helps improve hip fire. With the one thing with the Deagle is kickback, and so this isn't a gun that in most cases you want to rapid fire, because I would assume the spray is going to be kind of all over the place. But it is a single fire mode. It uses 45 ACP ammo, and a standard magazine fits 7 rounds, but it can be extended to 10 with that add-on. This is big. This is something that you, Brian, actually have been working on a little bit. Ledge grabbing. So they finally have got the new ledge grab feature, which you may think, when we say ledge grab, we literally mean like grabbing onto a ledge and shimmying your way across to an open window or to a balcony. I look at that and I go, that's a very easy thing. You've talked about it a little bit, though. Shedding some light on it, it is a very complicated task. It is not simple
right
at
now.
all.
Right now there's a bug in Unreal Engine, which I'm not sure exactly what version these guys are on right now.
Who makes Unreal Engine?
Epic.
Perfect. We had to get our plug-in. Yeah. Thank you.
And of course, it's not a bug; it's a feature.
Yeah.
But there's a bug in the new 4.22, which I have a tutorial ready to go out that is about a ledge detection and grabbing system. But I want to do it to where it actually works in the current version of Unreal. And there's a bug. So it works in 4.21, works in 4.20. But if you upgrade to 4.22, it no longer works. And so I'm assuming that I'm wondering if they try to update, if it's going to end up breaking this whole ledge grabbing thing. But it's not crazy. But when you have so many other features and movements and weapons and all these different things that they're doing in this, it gets difficult to start adding. They're getting to a point where it gets difficult to add features like this that really make big changes like this to the game.
Well, and that's the other thing that's important to note here is if you're not a BR person, because there's a couple people in our community. Saul is one of the guys that jumps out to me. He's just not a BR person. This ledge grab is a huge dynamic changer for the game. It makes it so that areas that literally were almost unreachable before, it's like unless you jumped on a car or things like that, it will make getting into areas that you couldn't before. Now they're fully open for anybody to not explore, because there's not going to be things there, but getting up on roofs, getting up on ledges, hiding yourself.
Well, and if you look at Conan, they did a very non-restrictive ledge or climbing system.
Yeah,
it pretty much lets you climb up. It bases it on stamina. So you need to have more stamina and you can climb up anything. If you don't have enough stamina, you'll fall to your death. But this one, it actually is looking at ledges itself. It's not letting you just climb up everything. It needs to see that it's a square ledge. You grab it and you can shimmy. So it will be certain areas. I'm wondering if you think something's going to be a ledge and you jump for it and then it's not, and then you fall to your death. I wonder how accurate that's going to be.
Well, it doesn't appear that the highest you'll be is 2.5 meters. So you're not going to be like, there's not skyscrapers that you're going to be jumping from. But they say to use it, you can activate the ledge grab by either jumping or vaulting using the spacebar by default, and then continue to press the spacebar or by pressing the spacebar at the right timing in midair, heading towards the target location. So you press it when you want to engage the jump and latch onto something, and then you can cancel it like you'd cancel anything else. Here's a quick message from them, though. They say this is the first iteration of ledge grab. You cannot yet hang on the railings or slide down railings. However, ledge grab will be updated twice in total, including this update. So once more is what it sounds like. The dev team will keep working to enable those features just mentioned from other updates in the future. We anticipate a similar adoption period for the ledge grab as we did with the initial introduction of vaulting, which vaulting was many moons ago. We will work to isolate any improvements or modifications that need to be made during the early stages of this feature's launch. Please try out the new ledge grab and kindly they should have bolded that. Kindly give us your feedback so that we can further improve and polish the feature, which is the utmost priority to the dev team. So this is, as simple as this sounds, this kind of piques my interest a little bit in jumping back into PUBG, because the guy that has barricaded himself inside of the house, and you know damn well he's sitting at the door watching you, waiting for you to open the door. Now you have your buddy run around run a circle around the front door, so he thinks that somebody's out there, shoot a little bit, and then now you can vault in, ledge grab into the building or jump through the window or whatever and smoke him. So that's what's so neat about it.
I think this is one area where they've really done a good job of branching away from Arma. We were talking about Dayz earlier, and how it has just never left the Arma feel. And I think that's hurting them. I think they're realizing here, people don't necessarily want a game that feels like Arma. Like, they want to be able to grab a ledge. They want to vault over something. They want to do all these better movements, and Unreal is perfectly capable of doing it. So I'm glad that they're adding these things in and not saying, oh, we're going to do it the way the Arma would have done it. Because I think most people, a lot of people who are playing this game now have never played Arma.
Yeah. So that's big. Go ahead and check that out. They've done some improvements to the gas can. They actually explode now, which is kind of neat. So you can, it'll explode and deal radius damage to players and objects around it. It does say keep in mind that you can hurt both yourself and your teammates if you stand too close to an explosion. So team kills do count. You can blow your friends up with the gas cans. They say to use this, you drop a gas can on the ground and damage it with bullets or throwables, which will cause it to explode and deal damage close by. Each gas can will now individually displayed in your inventory. And when players have more than one gas can, that's how it will stack, because now they're essentially weapons. So they're not going to say like 9. It's going to say, if you have 3 of them, it will be 3 separate icons. So you're not dropping the entire, your whole stack, or there might be some confusion with that. They've added some radio messages. So you can now, similar to Apex, kind of, they've got things like, enemy spotted, affirmative, thank you, need more, negative, sorry, need ammo, need backup. So there's kind of an internal...
It's perfect for console. I mean, one thing is, this is totally a console feature. I mean, it's useful in...
It's useful for console, but it's also...
And the ping system, I mean, that's good.
It's useful for that, but it's also useful for playing with a group of randoms, and you not obviously...
Without a mic.
Yeah, well, you don't know them. I mean, most people don't talk in game. I don't think... I mean, I never do. So with this,
did they already have the ping system in this?
I don't know.
Is it? Yeah, this has a ping system now. I don't remember. I think that.
No, maybe it did. No, I don't believe it did. Honestly, God, I don't remember. But I think they did.
But this is kind of expanded upon that ping system.
It has, and it's got some of these messages now. F3 is the radio. It's a UI wheel. So you hold down F3 and then you can put your mouse to where you need to be. Maybe the ping system is new. Honestly, God, I don't know.
I don't remember.
You can ping just similar. Again, it's funny though. You see Apex does this, then Fortnite does it. Now PUBG is doing it. So you can ping airdrops, enemies, locations, doors, whatever. And they've got individual messages. So when you ping an enemy, it'll say near range. It'll say near range. Enemy, which is less than 50 meters, medium range enemy 200, or long range, which is 200 meters or more. And if it just says enemy spotted, that means it's over 300 meters away. So that's kind of how they've handled that. You can mute radio messages from individual teammates. There is a volume slider as well for them, so you can now individually change things with all of your teammates. Kill distances have been added to the center of the screen, which is kind of I mean, this is kind of like a anti-hacker feature, You'll see, some guy killed me with a UMP-45 from 980 meters away. That's incredible. That's really, with a headshot. That's really incredible. So they've added that to the center of the screen for the it'll be for the shoot the killer and the person being killed. They have made some modifications with battle points. They've got a new survival objectives tab that you can do, and you collect battle points by doing things. For example, they've got a couple of things in here. Use a first aid kit. These are daily objectives, daily things to do. Again, keeping people logged in, keeping things for people to do. Get 2 kills in a single match. Pick up 50 items in a single match. So there'll be daily missions and weekly missions, and all of that is to buy battle points. The battle points gets you in-game loot boxes and things like that. So
yeah, they totally followed the system that the mobile is working on the mobile. So
yeah, added a couple new skins and new items for some weapons. Weapon mastery. You can now zoom in and out when viewing your weapons in the mastery tab, so to give you a better look at the item. So adding a little bit more of a reason maybe to buy skins and other cool things so you can actually view your own gun. Let's see. Obviously, they've added the deagle to there. They've improved the last match pop-up UI. There's been the in-game charm equip/unequip feature is in there for the test server. There's this is something we've said every game needs to do, and they do actually do it. You do get bonus weapon XP when you play on the test server. So that's exactly what they need to do. Encourage people to do that.
Give a perk, something that lasts.
Well, yeah, just a reason to play it. I mean, I'm not going to play some bug game for no reason. They've done a couple of changes to the UI, brightness, making the parachute more readable than it was. Performances, they say buildings at a shorter distance now load 30 to 40% faster through level streaming, which is something you've talked pretty significantly about on the show. Streaming priority has been optimized through estimating of players' movements route. So it's kind of using maybe a little bit of, I'm going to use the buzzword, Brian, AI. It's going to use a little bit of AI, and it's going to assume if you're following a road into a city, you're going to probably go to that city. So it's going to start streaming some of that stuff in earlier than it was before.
It'd be interesting to see how that works out.
Yeah, I mean, it's in machine learning, as our friend Tech Sean says. Yes, machine learning and AI to figure out where you're going to go in game. So to load some of those objects in, that's how they're going to be able to do that stuff quicker. Level of detail has been optimized. And this is a big one for you, Brian. Furniture rendering speed has been optimized. So all the furniture is going to look pristine.
Well, I remember when we first started playing the game, I'd run into a building and like nothing had rendered in yet. Like I'd land and sometimes the buildings would be total blocky. Remember that? Was I playing with you at the time that I was able to like run up on the roof? Or I was able to kill somebody because like nothing had rendered in for me.
Oh yeah. You would just see like the whole world was black and you were able to shoot them because you.
Yeah, I could. The buildings didn't load in.
Yeah,
they couldn't see me because they were inside of a building, and I'm just able to shoot them. That was interesting.
Hacker Brian confirmed. Custom matches. They've done some things to custom matches with the esports, esport mode and esport game modes. They say the replay system has been updated. Replay files from older updates are no longer playable. So hopefully you screen grabbed your replays. They've added some special. Now this is something you're a lot more anal about this than I am. It says special billboards and graffiti have been added in celebration of the upcoming Grand Slam and esports, PUBG Global Esports series. So they've added some of these. Now this is, this may be an immersion breaker for you, Brian, but they've added these billboards and graffiti that says GLL Grand Slam.
Well, if they would have put our graffiti in the very beginning, I would have no issue with it.
We'll make sure to let Player Unknown know that when we see him in Seattle this week or this month rather. So so they've added some of that stuff in there, and a whole laundry list of bug fixes. This is a very big update for PUBG. There is a lot of things in there that you read through this and you go, okay, how big is it? You got a brand new vehicle, brand new gun, totally changing how interactions may or may not play out with the ledges and vaulting through windows and whatnot. You've got a new explosive, playing with groups that you're not talking to. This is a huge update for PUBG. This piques my interest. I'd go back and play this. I may actually go back. I will go back and play this. Some of these features are very interesting to me.
Yeah, they've added, and that's the thing is, we need to do, once we start doing Game of the Week, we need to cycle through a lot of these, like Conan, who's added content and reworked the whole system. PUBG, just kind of make a list of the ones that have made major updates. Even Atlas, I mean, because they've added all that new stuff. So
you can play the single player mode together. We'll give everybody the same JSON file. We
can all screen share, and then
hey, do you see that item over there? Yeah, I do. I see one on my server
too. Go pick
it up. So yeah, I agree. We do need to go through that. And by the way, for Game of the Week, if you I know we've got people that don't listen every single week. For the summer months, Brian's got a crazy schedule. I've got a crazy schedule throughout the next couple weeks. So probably until after we get back from Seattle, we're gonna we've kind of put the brakes on a scheduled Game of the Week. We've been doing games almost every Friday. I've seen people playing them. So Friday night, just show up in Discord. If there's people around, hang out. If there's not, you could be the one that starts that ball rolling. So if you want to play something, ask, and there's always somebody around that wants to play something. So that's kind of the update on Game of the Week. Let's talk about XERA. Actually, that's XERA, XERA, as people like to call it. And they, again, are trying to do their... they're not trying. They are doing their constant weekly... they're trying to do new content, some sort of new content, and bug fixes in the same week. So this update is out as of Saturday, and this is update patch number 3. And there's a couple things that they've added. They've added a new crashed helicopter event, which they've got a couple of these. What are these called? Instance? Well, they're not instance because they're global, but they're these server
special events. I mean, they're
server special events though.
Yeah. And
they're based around a POI. So this one is called the helicopter crash event. This image actually reminds me very much of Arma and the Dayz mod. The crash helicopters were extremely rare, and you'd come across one randomly. So what they've got here is it requires 5+ players are required on the server, so not in the zone, but on the server. So you can't go on a single play. The reason why this is you can't go on a no-pop server and just run this event, train this event over and over again.
Yeah, and farm them.
Yeah, which would be smart to do. So 5 players on the server. The helicopter crash event will appear on the map at a randomly designated location. They've got 6 spawn points, and the event will spawn every 45 minutes. The helicopter will drop 20 salvageable crates, which is a lot, giving a 15 XP each when opened, as well as military-grade loot, and it will despawn after 25 minutes of crashing. So this is a way... They adjusted the loot tables a little bit. This is a way to add some more. We complained about this, Brian. There's no ARs. There's no snipers. People on Steam are leaving reviews. We've got 30 hours in the game, and I literally have never even touched these weapons. And they're supposedly spawning at a semi-rare or at a semi-reasonable rate. They're just not being found, or whoever's finding them is just getting lucky. So they've added 20 military-grade crates essentially to the game, and this will be happening every 45 minutes on active servers. So that's the first new event. They've got another new event as well. It's called Civilian Bunker. The same thing with this one. 5+ players are required to be active on the server, and the Civilian Bunker will require a key, which you'll have to find from looting. It's called the Civilian Bunker key, and they can only be found at the helicopter crash events or within the Civilian Bunker themselves. So it requires you to do a little bit of a little meta stuff. You're going to have to do one event to get access to the other event, so they've got that in there, and they will be enabled every 30 to 45 minutes. And the civilian bunkers will be disabled if not opened within 30 minutes. It's essentially an underground hatch. It's a bunker.
Yeah.
The bunkers will go on cooldowns for 30 minutes after being opened. It will close after the player leaves the area. There will be 25 items inside of the crate when opened, or the bunker rather when opened, and civilian bunkers will spawn a wave of 30 robots. They have 5% chance of those robots are going to be exploders, and only one civilian bunker can be active/enabled at a time. So we've got two new, by the way, the map's not all that big. So two new server mode, server events, which are going to be driving and forcing PvP.
That's the whole point, is you want to attract people to one point so that then there's tons of gunfights. And he was doing that, like it was happening.
Oh,
like,
definitely.
We were going to the city, and you kind of learned, all right, here's events happening. I think he's coming up with all these different ways to cycle, and probably will find what works the best, as far as those crates that drop, and just what can you do to kind of cycle people around the map and then force them together.
Yeah. So with that, they've done some things to the supply drops. They removed the very common G17 drop from 5+ player airdrops and modified various drop tables to include the new M16 weapon and MTV armor. Vehicles, you can now exit a vehicle while in the water. I guess that was an issue before. Improved system that finds an exit location for vehicles. This should help with instances of getting stuck. So driving next to a wall and trying to get out, maybe it won't let you. It's going to, or it's going to move you somewhere else instead of getting stuck. Vehicles will now use fuel. This is something they didn't do day one. So now you'll actually have to burn through that fuel. They can be repaired by hitting it with a crowbar. Hello, H1Z1. 5% repair per hit. Implemented a fix that may fix losing gear if disconnecting while on an ATV. Boy, this is like deja vu. Armor, they've reduced the heavy vest protection to 15%. It was 18%. Reduced light plate armor protection to 10%. It was 12%. And then implemented the MTV, which is a 13% protection. For the map, they've reworked the C4 compound area. They've added rocks around all compounds and the heli crash zones. Fixed an issue with the police building collision and fixed an issue with the cabin building collision. They've added a new weapon that we talked about, the M16 assault rifle. They've reduced the damage of the AR-15 to 11. It was 13. Reduced the damage of the AK to 13.5. It was 14. And reduced the damage of the MP5 to 10%. It was 10.5. As well as increasing the recoil of the AR-15. Footsteps. This is good. When you're crouched now, there previously was no footstep sounds, I don't think. But now they've added
only when you were standing, yeah.
Only when you're standing. So if you're totally prone, or you were totally silent. It's at 30% volume. You can hear people stepping around. There's an issue with the group icon. They've added the new gasoline item restores 35% fuel that they've added. That new armor's in there, the bunker, the M16, and then they've added new hints for the helicopter icon, compound events, and bunker icons. And by the way, gas spawns on a timer at the petrol stations, as they say, pretty much everywhere besides the US. So that was update number 3, patch number 3. Lots of stuff in here, lots of new things, these new events, some new content. And with that, they're also doing they announced this yesterday. They're doing an Independence Day limited time event. Well, it's 12 days, so it's relatively long, and you've got plenty of time to jump in on this. It's from now till July 12th, and you will gain a skin box for every supply drop opened. So you even more of a reason to go towards a supply drop, aka more interactions with other players, and you will gain a skin box for every civilian bunker event that is activated. So again, go and do these things. The survival boxes will now have a 30% chance of giving an Independence Day weapon skin and a 70% chance of giving a regular skin. So they've gone ahead and added some new skins for that. For the crashed helicopter event, by the way, this is a hot fix for 3.1. They increased the time to open boxes to 6 seconds. For the crash event, it was 3, so doubled the time to open each individual box, as well as improved the loot table. So I guess the loot wasn't that good. For the bunker, they've also improved the loot table. For armor, they fixed blank heavy armor protections, which was 18. It's now 15. And ATV gas usage has been reduced by half. So I guess there was you're burning through gasoline with the ATVs, and they've cut that in half. So all tweaks, all good stuff. And they're rocking and rolling over at XERA. So hop in there between now and the 12th and have a chance to win some skins. And if you don't have a copy of the game and you want to buy a copy, you can actually buy a copy and help support the show. It's infectionpodcast.com/XERA, XERA, and you can buy it through them directly, and we get a small cut of that. So
cool.
Check it out.
Well, I want to talk about a game that has come out of early access that probably most people don't know.
Can't talk about that, sorry.
That's right. The Ring of Elysium.
Oh.
They have released their 1.0.
Hey,
so they left early access.
Cool. Good for them.
And they did it in 9 months. And these are the guys that were putting out 5 patches a week a lot of times.
Yep.
And so on here, you get a free M4 skin. So if you log in, so pretty much June, well, that just ended, so don't do that. But if you logged in, as of yesterday.
Damn it, Brian.
I put the note down, and as of yesterday, you would have gotten a free skin. So
it looks cool.
Cool
it's got an anime girl on it. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting skin.
Scantily clad.
No, she's not scantily clad, is she? She's got like a cape. Well, I can't tell.
Yeah. Anyways,
Jonesy would love this.
Yeah. So they have on here where you could have done this, which is sad, but yeah. So our ROE now. One thing that I found interesting is they only did 2 patches this week.
Oh, it's all over.
So I'm wondering if this is because they feel like they're out of early access, if they're going to be cutting down on the number of patches that they're doing. So they did do the 6.26.2019. They added support for some AMD graphics cards because they've been testing this DirectX 12 client that they've been doing. So they've made it to where if you have an AMD video card, you might be able to use that now and try it out. And then they had their adventure characters. They enabled Max and Big Joe. They did some improvement and bug fixes for that. And then they have their 7. So just today, right? I don't know if this is Asian time or what, but 7/2/2019, they added the Game On tournament organizer system to support the upcoming Amazon Cup tournament.
Oh.
So
now
Amazon Cup, I'm wondering, so that's an online tournament open to all players in North America and Europe. The tournament will be played on the latest game mode, Ashen Eye. Official qualifiers will place weekly over the span of 5 weeks. The Ring of Elysium Amazon Cup Regional Championship will take place online August 10th and August 11th, giving teams a shot at $60,000 prize pool and being crowned champions. So besides the championship, participants can also win free rewards such as Twitch accessories, game PCs, Steam gift cards, and Twitch bits. So that is the upcoming tournament. So if you figure you're really good at ROE, you can enter for that.
I find it interesting. It's an all online tournament, which obviously lots of games do. I don't believe they've done an invitational is what I'll call it for ROE. And I don't know if they ever will, but this is an online tournament. Interesting. I haven't seen Amazon. Isn't this interesting?
That makes me nervous.
What's up with I've never seen Amazon as a title sponsor on really any esports I've watched.
But really, it's probably Twitch. I mean, maybe Amazon, because of games, is trying to push.
Well, yeah, but it's not. It's not a Twitch tournament. I mean, it's all plastered. I understand Twitch is Amazon, but it's all Amazon.
They're giving away Twitch bits and their Twitch things. I mean, it's definitely linked to Twitch.
It is, but it's just interesting that they're calling it weird that
Amazon they branded
Cup.
it. Yeah, Amazon. Yeah.
Why? I've never seen Amazon like the Overwatch League. I've never seen
probably because of Amazon games. I assume that they're deciding that they need to make their not just Twitch. They need to make their name known in gaming as well.
Apparently, they actually did some layoffs over there. I saw that over the past week or two. I saw some. Did you see something about that too?
Yeah, okay. I don't think it was Smedley's department though. It was for one of their unannounced titles. So I'm not sure which title.
Yeah, I want to. That came to mind. I do remember. I saw that over the past week. So yeah, you can go ahead. There's a whole bunch of. You can go read on how to register and all those rules. It's Ring of Elysium, ELYSIUM.com/Amazon Cup /index.html. So you can go ahead and check that out on their website. So yeah, cool. I like the logo. The product image here. It's like a fire hurricane spinning over a piece of land. That's pretty neat looking. I guarantee I can qualify.
You'll log in there just to see the weather.
That's not in there. I guarantee. I bet you I can qualify for this. I've played 6 hours of ROE.
Yeah, you got this. You're a pro.
I'm a professional. What if you could cheat through this tournament, like a Fortnite tournament?
I'm sure
they had to ban people again. I saw that. I think PH posted in Discord something like some guy made it to like the semifinals or some BS like that. Some team, and I found out they were all cheating. I mean, that's the only problem with these online tournaments.
The problem. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Huge
the online
problem.
one, like, how do you stop that? There's not a great way to do it.
They're bragging about cheating, and they tell somebody who tells somebody, and it gets back, and then they ban them. I guess I have no idea. Yeah. I find that pretty.
Imagine if you guys were truly serious, like you could cheat and just have everybody keep their mouth shut, and no one would know.
Yeah, except for easy anti-cheater battle eye.
Yeah. So all right. So let's Jaws of Extinction, which we need to play sometime.
Yeah.
Just tell me when you got some time.
Well, tell me when you got some time for MORDHAU. I was playing that.
Okay. Well, how about we do it in exchange? We'll play some MORDHAU and we'll play some Extinction. How about that?
I don't even have a key for this game. How am I going to play it?
You do. I gave you one.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Just make sure you redeem it.
Oh, that's a problem.
All right. So they put out a patch, but it was mostly just fixes. Most people haven't played it, but it's just number of fixes. They're 2.8.5.
Are you sure you gave me a key for this?
Patch. Yes. If not, I'll resend it to you.
Okay. Sorry.
And then they added some things for audio, like ambient music, some new that will play in safe zones, and then also some main menu music. They fixed footprint sounds and things like that. So a lot of fixes. And so if you have that game, go ahead and check it out. SCUM as well. They put out a patch. Their versioning system is out of control. 0.2.42.15,102.
How many freaking updates do these people? I mean, I'll be dead by the time these people get to like a solid version number of their game.
Yeah. Well, once they get to 0.99.
I mean, there's literally, it's 3 decimals. What?
Yeah.
How many updates do they think they're going to do? 0.2.42.15102. It's not a date code. Maybe it's a binary. Well, it's not binary because there's more than one.
No, they're probably probably when they're doing a small little patch, it goes in the last one. If they're doing something that's of a little bit of significance, they'll do it in the second one. And then if they do a major content update, it'll be in the first one.
No, you're missing one still. There's four spots for updates. That's what I'm saying.
Well, no, then the very, very first one's for when they go out of alpha.
Okay.
So when they get to 1.0.
So 1.0, which will be the final release, big things, kind of big things, nothingness. I mean, Arc was what, 2 numbers, right? Something dot something. Something dot something. That was Arc. It worked out great. This is the only thing you and I care about because we have to read this BS, read these numbers every week.
So they did bug fixes on this one. I mean, for instance, I'll pull out one of the bug fixes so you can see the level of this. Various LOD fixes, like for female gloves. And then just quality of life things. Made adjusted tree chopping recipes, sped up the log pickup animation, things like that. Then they did their 0.2.43.15148 patch, which is also more hot fixes and more fixes. So goat heads can no longer be chopped. They fixed a bunch of collision issues, removed claim interaction on bases, things like that. So you can now fuel fire with oil. So that is one big change. So still, they're tweaking that game. I need to play it sometime again, but I'm waiting for like a major content update. Maybe when they get to 0.3.1.0.
Are you sure we'll still be doing the show by then?
Maybe. When they get there, I'll play it again.
Okay, write that in the book. That's something you got to hold yourself to. All right, so that's SCUM. How we need to begin wrapping it up here. I've got a very early morning.
Okay.
So what do you?
Well, let's mention really quickly. Arc, they did they have a new event called Summer Bash 2019.
Play that video. It's only like a minute long. You want me to play that real quick?
Go ahead and play the video. There's no talking knowing Arc. So
okay, yeah. So the Summer Bash 2019. Very patriotic update with all those flags and fireworks and all those crazy video effects.
Did you do the flag?
No,
like,
definitely did
okay,
not.
I was gonna say I can't imagine them putting a flag. First of all,
American flag and you couldn't even see the video. There's so many
I was
overlays.
like squinting at the video. Like,
so it's just a typical, as we've said with ARK, they are the masters of doing holiday themed things. So they've got women running around in bathing suits, guys with Uncle Sam hats and USA bathing suits and fireworks and shooting guns into the air. They're all in, as they are with literally almost every. Find the smallest holiday that some country celebrates. ARK's doing a special event for it. So it's called the ARK Summer Bash. What are the dates? Are July 2nd. So today, timely for once for us on an update.
yes, finally.
July 2nd to July 16th. So this will run until 2 Tuesdays from now. So you got 2 whole weeks to go ahead and jump in on that. And that's on the Xbox, PS4, and of course everybody's favorite, Steam.
Yes. Now, one thing I wanted to mention really quickly with Blackwake.
What is Blackwake again? That's the pirate game?
So it's a pirate game, not Atlas. It's the one that came out before Atlas, but they've added in 3.87 bots, crew bots. So because probably different times, various loads of people playing. Now you can have it to where bots can help man the ship, and that way you're able to have a fully manned ship regardless of how many people are on the server. They have the ability to load cannons, fire cannons, use the pump, repair holes in the ship, and die and respawn. So they do not captain, they do not participate in boarding, they do not consume ship resources, do not contribute to kill statistics, and they do not repair the nose and mast. So
obviously that is a straight ripoff of what Atlas has done, which is smart because you do need that. You do need those NPCs to operate those things, because you can't assume a full. You want to play the game and you can't because you don't have 4 or 5 buddies on to, steer the mast or whatever needs to be done, raise the anchors and stuff like that. So good on them.
Other than that, I mean, there was a Rust video, so people are welcome to check that out.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's pretty much all the news.
All right. Let's see. I'm excited. We haven't been able to do current players now in a couple weeks, so I'm excited with this. We are going to current players is a segment where we look at some of the most popular games that, of course, are on Steam. Got to give Steam credit for this. With Steam Spy, we can actually get an estimate of how many people are playing games. So every week we sit here and we look at some pretty graphics I make, and we say, oh well, this is how many people are playing. Let's start with ARK, as they are in the middle of their event now, or the beginning of their event rather. 40,491 people currently playing. The 24-hour peak, 63,497, with a 7-day peak of 75,831. Rust, really solid numbers as always, 45,952 rather. The 24-hour peak, 66,530, with a 7-day peak of 81,669. Moving on over to Conan Exiles. Even though it's not ARK numbers or Rust numbers, it's still a pretty solid player base for the game. 5,848. The 24-hour peak is 8,551. And the 7-day peak at 10,000. That's not bad for a game that's been out a year and a half. It's 10,545. So it's, as Brian said, some of those role-playing players and people like that. Let's look at Battlegrounds real quickly. You talk about an oof. Currently playing 119,311. The 24-hour peak, 688,195, with a 7-day peak of 739,541. Brian, is your microphone on? I need a guess. How many players are currently playing? Just a solid number. How many? 1,000 number. How many people are currently playing Atlas?
Probably 3,000.
Oh my God! Right on the money. 2,890. You cheater. 24-hour peak. 3,982. The 7-day peak. 5,026. So their 7-day peak is an eighth of what they want to have for them. Now, okay, so at Atlas there are 4 main servers: PvP US, PvE US, PvP EU, PvE EU, PvEP, whatever. There's 4 servers. Each of those can hold 40,000 concurrent players. they've got an eighth of one of those servers playing on at the peak of the week. An eighth of the whole thing. I mean, this game's gone. This is done. I mean, sent F in the chat. I mean, it's done. There's just no way. This is why they're rushing single player. They're barely breaking. They won't probably break 5,000 current players next week.
Yeah,
that's bad.
It'd be interesting. I mean, I don't know how they can really turn it around the way that the game is structured. Well, people expect something different out of an MMO. They want content. They want quests. They don't want it to be all PvP. MMO is not all about PvP. There's PvP mixed in. The problem is they banked it all on PvP and going and blowing up ships. And people do not want that big of a loss. It's not a survival game.
I mean, look at this chart. I mean, you can see where it peaked. It was peaking around 40. I mean, it never had like crazy numbers, 50,000 players. It dropped down to 1 point at 1,000 players. Then this is their big content update they did in April. And you can see those numbers around 12, 13, 11,000. And now that has just progressively gone down to the point now where the peak is on Sundays and it's 5,000 players. It's down almost 300 players from where it was the week before. So 300 people that played it the week prior didn't play it last week. Now, I will say this. It's a holiday weekend. The coming up is kind of a holiday week. So their players may be a little higher this week. All the games might be because of the U.S. player base with the 4th of July holiday. But not good.
We'll see.
Red alert, like sound the alarms because we've got a serious problem on our hands with Atlas. It's not that they are rushing single player for a reason. That's why you're seeing.
Yep.
So there's current players.
Well, there we go. All right, and I chose to spend all that time making a mod to manage servers for that game.
Hey, I do want to give a quick shout out because we forgot to do these. Our friend Judd and our friend Sean, TechZone707, who is actually going to be joining us at PAX West for the second year in a row now.
They actually approved his pass.
They did, helping us out with all of the you won't have to wait in that crazy line to get in.
And Landgun as well, who will be joining us.
So we'll have our PR hype man, our marketing manager, and then of course your two lovely show hosts, Brian and Nick, roaming the streets of Seattle. So looking forward to that coming up here in about 60 days. A little less than 60 days. So,
which is the same amount of time I have to graduate. So it's putting an extra rush on me because I have to finish all my stuff and be done before we go to PAX.
You want to play Jaws of Extinction right now? Are you sure you want to do that?
No. I'm just saying, like, to talk about timing, like, I'll be submitting my final paper to be graded, and then I'm getting on a plane and I'm flying to PAX.
That's going to be your BS excuse if you miss your flight. If you miss your flight. I was submitting my final paper. I didn't know about this trip that we booked. We booked this trip in May. I didn't know about my. I had to
finish my final a couple days early.
What do you have to do? A capstone, a big final project?
Yeah, so I'm doing my last class right now, and then I'm giving myself about a month and a half to do my capstone.
Do you know what you're going to do your capstone on?
Mm-mm. I'll be meeting with them next week to talk. Oh,
they had to. They don't. You don't get a choice.
No, I'm going to discuss it with them to see, because I want to make it as easy as possible while still meeting all of their things. So I'm going to make sure I don't like overshoot and
build a video.
Make windows.
Build a ledge system in Unreal Engine is going to be your.
Oh yeah, I got project. I got this.
Hey.
Can I just make them?
Build
I'll
a
even do a
game.
tutorial video on how to do it as my capstone. How about that? Perfect.
How to do a successful podcast could be your capstone project. Okay.
So we'll find out. I'm going to be, so hopefully it's not something crazy. If they'd let me do it in Unreal, I would, but I don't think they will.
All right. Well, nevertheless, congratulations on that, and we wish you luck on that. So,
all right. So let's go into tip of the week, where either I give a general gaming tip or one for a specific game. And since Conan came out with some decent updates, this will be on Conan Exile. So this is tip of the week. All right, so in Conan, they do have 3 different game modes that can offer a fairly different experience for this. So we've talked about PvE and PvP a little bit here, but first of all, the PvE servers, of course, they don't allow you to damage other players. but you can damage NPCs and creatures, but it won't also damage the other players' thralls or their buildings at all. The PvP servers, they're not exactly like what you may expect in a PvP server. You can damage other players, of course, but you can only damage buildings in Conan on the official servers between 5 p.m. and 11 p.m. So they have a limited base rating time built into those servers. And then they have another mode called PvE Conflict. And these servers they're a combination of the PvP and PvE, allowing you to damage players between that prime time, so like 5 to 11, but not allowing any sort of building damage. So if you're looking for a little bit of PvP, but you don't want to have to rebuild your base every 3 days, that might be a good fit for you. And it's a good way to, I think, experience Conan. And I think that would be that's probably very tailored for that role-playing community I keep talking about inside of Conan, to where they can come together and they can have these wars and they can do all these things, but not worry about people trolling, and destroying their base in what's supposed to be kind of a set world. So that is tip of the week.
Alrighty. Thank you very much for that, Brian. Appreciate it.
Yes. Are we ready to
I almost forgot.
Game giveaway?
Yes, sir. Who's our lucky listener?
All right. So Head Neophyte.
Hey.
He is my friend Dave. Congratulations. And he has won a copy. So I will send you a key of Moonlighter. So congratulations.
Yes, absolutely. Congratulations on that. Again, we're here literally every Tuesday live, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/ literally Infection Podcast. We're here every week, and we'll have for PAX, I'm trying to think what we'll do. We'll do a pre-show, we'll get there on a Thursday, so Thursday night, we'll do like a kind of a quick little live stream podcast pre-show thing, maybe like an hour. We'll go over who's going to be there and things we're interested in. And then either Saturday night or Sunday afternoon night, we will do a full recap of what we saw. And then on Tuesday, we'll do a full back at the office show. So you'll get 3 episodes of Infection in, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, 6 days, 3 shows in 6 days. So the highest quality content on the internet, and then a whole bunch of obviously interviews and videos from the show itself. So there you go.
Very good. Well, are we ready to roll on out of here?
Yes, sir.
Well, if you want to find me at Boise Computer on Twitter, my blog biteoftech.com, and make sure you go check out our website infectionpodcast.com. On the right-hand side, click that join our Discord server, and you can submit news. You can hang out, talk, play video games. Join us for the game of the week. And also, we have on there places that you can, if you want to support us through Humble Bundle, you want to maybe purchase some things through Amazon. That's on there. We have a link to our Steam group for notifications before the live show starts. We also have our Twitch channel, our YouTube channel, and all the audio forms and past show notes for every single episode that we've done. So if you want to go check one of those out, it's all on our website. So thank you very much. We'll see you guys. See you later.
Yes. Again, no scheduled game of the week. Taking it off because of just the summer craziness. For all of our U.S. listeners, of course, hopefully you have a nice week. You're probably off like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or Thursday, Friday for Independence Day. So if you're partaking in those events, stay safe and don't be like a NFL player and blow your hands off with a. Don't be a wide receiver in the NFL and blow your hands off with a firework. So be safe and do all that fun stuff. Brian, as always, thank you. Thanks for doing all the show prep and all that fun stuff. Well, it's not fun. Thanks for doing all that stuff. And we will see you here next Tuesday.
See you later.
Alrighty, folks. Again, if you want to check out our website, it is, as always, infectionpodcast.com. If you missed any portion of the show, we've got full show notes, videos, links, images, tweets, screenshots, all that other fun jazz. Over on our website, it is infectionpodcast.com. My name is Nick Craig. You can follow me on Twitter at Nicholas M. Craig. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. Have a great week, a safe 4th of July weekend. We'll see you next time.